I'm playing that because we've got Kate Herbert here in the studio with us this morning. How are you, Kate?
I'm here live.
You are live, very live, and you've been to see something about Pride and Prejudice.
No, I did a while ago. That's not the one I've just seen.
No, but you've seen something else about Pride and Prejudice, which is Pretty Woman.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Is
that
that
was a
tenuous link? Oh, sorry.
I was looking at my notes going, what am I talking about?
No.
What year is it? Yes, I did. We went to see Pretty Woman, and it's the musical of Pretty Woman, which has a lot to live up to because the film is, let's use the much bandied about term, iconic. It's a film that people love or hate, if they hate that sort of romantic rom-com thing. It's Julia Roberts and Richard Gere. Obviously, there's something to be met if you're going to reproduce that as a musical.
Absolutely.
It's going to need to have music that fills all those comic and emotional gaps and creates the relationship. So I don't know that it quite measures up there. However, it's fun, and there are a couple of... You haven't seen it, have you?
No.
Couple of really fabulous songs. I'll tell you the lead. Samantha Jade, who was a TV... it was X Factor or something like that she won many years ago. Great voice, little tiny diminutive performer. The voice is extraordinary and belies this diminutive stature. Ben Hall, who is the man, the character, Edward... She is they describe her as the hooker with the golden, what do you call it, a heart of gold, but it's more like the hooker with a great deal of ambition.
Who are you talking about, Jade
Sorry,
or Ben?
Jade. Yeah, sorry, Jade. Samantha Jade plays Vivian, who was the Julia Roberts character. Yeah. Sorry, she's the hooker. Oh, yeah. And she gets, she's brought in by him to the, what's it called, Beverly Wilshire Hotel. Yeah. He's a wealthy,
This is Ben Hall.
Stitched up, playing Edward, stitched up businessman who just wants someone to escort him to various things. Anyway, that's the basis of it, and of course they end up falling in love. That's what happens in the movie, happens here too.
So is this Pygmalion retold?
Yeah, except his heart softens at the end and they become a couple, whereas Pygmalion, a student of mine said a few weeks ago, is he autistic? Has he got no capacity to create relationships of that kind of...
Pretty much the same in My Fair Lady too,
yes. So it really relies on the love of that movie. People are in their red ball gowns, flashing around in the audience. But the music, I think, has some really big highlights and some that are just forgettable. Brian, why do I always call him the wrong name? Brian, Jane, oh God, why do I forget his name? Brian Adams. Canadian singer-songwriter. He's written the music with someone else. And there were some really rockin' numbers and for all of the lead characters. But I think Samantha Jade's voice really carries those songs. It's just she's not the triple threat. We won't go too far down that, but we know what that means when you're a lead in a musical. And it's very difficult for Ben Hall playing a character who is so stitched up that there's no emotional range to play that, and for them to write songs that create that layer of emotionality or emotion for the character is quite difficult. So there's a problem with creating that stuff on stage. But I have to say, Michelle Brazier as Kit DeLuca, she's, I reckon, the hooker with the big heart of gold, sings a rockin' number called Rodeo Drive. It is fantastic. And Tim Omaji, who used to be known as Tim O'Matic, is just glorious in two roles. I won't go any further into that, but go and see it if you enjoy it. It is fun. It really is fun.
Now, I popped along to see Rabbit and Watson last night, and you saw the preview.
I saw a preview, so I'm not able to give critical or review kinds of comments, but I can comment
offline. And it's 2 hours long. There's only a couple more performances tonight and tomorrow. Look, it's an intriguing play. It shouldn't work. It's about improbable things like Australian Chinese-born football player who is being pursued across the centuries by a rabbit god of gay matchmaking. Look, I know you had some reservations about it.
I can't talk about reservations because I saw a preview, which often has reservations.
It sort of worked in an unlikely fashion. It was 2 hours long. I found the 2 hours went well.
I was happy sitting there for 2 hours. I think the idea, Nick, is really interesting to bring together the sort of mythology of a Chinese culture. So you've got God, you've got the monkey god makes an appearance, you've got various other
and you've
gods
got
and
Dr.
characters.
Cindy Pan playing a goddess and also the mother of the young footballer. In fact, she is his mother.
Oh, she's his real mother.
A real mother.
And she plays the tiger mum, but in a really unusual way. It's not just driving this boy to be academically superior.
She wants him to be a star footballer.
Or an internet star.
Yes. So it's a fascinating... I think, look, you could probably cut stuff. I kept thinking, should this be cut? Look, I just enjoyed it. So I can recommend it as a good, queer, good news story pretty much in the end. But I'd like to move on...
The Lion Dance, I want to mention at the beginning, it's fabulous. So if you want to see a traditional... small version.
And do use the earplugs they give you.
Yes.
Now, Barry Dickins has left us.
Barry Dickins has left us, and I am so very sad about this, and had a lovely email from his son, Louis, who was also a playwright I reviewed a few years ago. And Barry, I looked up my reviews, what's on my blog. That means the things that I wrote about, not just things that I saw. I think I had about 12 or more reviews of Barry plays over the last 20 years or something. And I've seen more than that. I know that. And I have known him in various places. He was a poet. He was a painter. He was a playwright.
He's a foundation of Melbourne theatre.
Melbourne theatre with the Pram Factory and La Mama and just being an identity. The man was eccentric and adorable and loving.
Annoying by the sound of it.
and annoying. Well, he could drive people mad, yes. And he was so... specific in the way that Jack Hibbard wrote this sort of poetic Australianism. Barry did it too, but differently. And it was funny, parodic, scathing, often scathing. He had a lot about Australian characters. Lenny Lower, who was an alcoholic journalist, and it seemed to be he was expressing things about himself in that play. He wrote about Brett Whiteley. Nothing ever went in a straight line in a Barry Dickins play.
What do you think, what was his impact on the scene, on playwrights? Can you sum up anything there?
Oh, Lord, I don't know. I think the Australianism of it, the localisation, writing for your local people. Maybe he was, in some way connected laterally to community theatre, which looks at how a community feels and expresses itself. And he wrote about Fitzroy.
And I think sounds like he gave us permission to be scathing about ourselves and actually to really peel back some of the uncomfortable skin.
Oh, yes.
To rent the mask underneath. That's getting a bit poetic, isn't it?
So, he was self-deprecating, and so he expected other people to appreciate that he was doing that, and, as you say, peeling the skin, and quite scathing, and often more than just quite, very scathing, and about politics, about... the social and economic environment. So he will be much missed, but his plays live on, as his son said.
Well, Kate, thank you so much for being with us on Arts Weekly again today. And